I've got a juicy update straight from the mouth of one of the Cowboys' defensive leaders, and let me tell you, he did not hold back. DeMarcus Lawrence, the star defensive end, recently sat down and spoke candidly about the responsibility that falls on the shoulders of the Cowboys' defensive line. And let's just say, he had some very interesting and eye-opening things to say. This isn't your typical coach speak or generic sound bites. Lawrence got real, he got honest, and he laid out exactly what needs to happen for this Cowboys defense to get back to an elite level in 2024. If you're a die-hard Cowboys fan, you're definitely going to want to hear what he had to say. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. We're going to dive into some comments made by defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence about the responsibility of the defensive line and how it's going to be crucial for the Cowboys' success this upcoming season. Now, as you all know, the Cowboys had a pretty disappointing 2023 season. They came into the year with high expectations, looking to build off a 12-5 campaign the year prior. But things just didn't seem to click, and they ended up missing the playoffs with an 8-8 record. A big part of their struggles was the performance of the defense, which took a significant step backwards from 2022. The Cowboys' defensive line in particular was a major issue. They just couldn't generate consistent pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and that really hurt the entire defense. The sack numbers dropped dramatically, and the run defense was also much weaker than it had been. It was a far cry from the dominant defensive line that helped carry the team to the playoffs the year before. So naturally, there's been a lot of focus this offseason on getting that defensive line back to an elite level. A big part of that is the return of DeMarcus Lawrence, who's been the heart and soul of that unit for the past several years. Lawrence has been an absolute stud for the Cowboys, making the Pro Bowl in 2021 and 2022 and establishing himself as one of the premier edge rushers in the NFL. And in a recent interview, Lawrence spoke at length about the responsibility that falls on the defensive line and what they need to do to get the defense back on track. He didn't hold back, and he had some really interesting and insightful things to say. So let's dive into his comments and break down what it means for the Cowboys heading into the 2024 season. The first thing Lawrence touched on was the overall mindset and approach that the defensive line needs to have. He emphasized that they can't just rely on their individual talent and abilities, they have to be completely locked in and dialed in as a collective unit. It's not about one guy making a play. It's about all of us doing our job and working together as a D-line, Lawrence said. We've got a lot of talent up front, but that doesn't mean anything if we're not all on the same page and holding each other accountable. We've got to embrace that responsibility and really take ownership of the success or failure of this defense. That's a really important point, and it gets to the heart of what's been missing from the Cowboys' defensive line the past season or two. There have been times where guys have tried to do too much on their own, or where they haven't been as disciplined and fundamentally sound as they need to be. And that's led to breakdowns in communication, missed assignments, and an overall lack of cohesion. Lawrence made it clear that can't happen again this year. He wants to see everybody locked in, everyone doing their job, and the entire unit operating like a well-oiled machine. Because he knows that's what it's going to take to get this defense back to an elite level. When we're all on the same page and working in unison, that's when we're at our best, Lawrence explained. That's when we can truly dominate up front and really set the tone for the whole defense. But it takes a lot of work, a lot of communication, and a lot of accountability to get to that point. And that's what we're going to have to commit to this offseason. A big part of that accountability and communication is going to come from the leadership of guys like Lawrence. As one of the veteran leaders on this team, he knows he has to set the tone and really drive home the importance of playing as a unified group. And he seems ready and eager to take on that responsibility. Lawrence talked about how he's going to be on his teammates constantly, making sure they're doing everything they need to do both on and off the field to be prepared. He wants to see the kind of relentless effort and attention to detail that's going to translate to dominant performances on Sundays. I'm going to be all over these guys, holding them accountable in every way, Lawrence said. Whether it's in the film room, in the weight room, or out on the practice field, I'm going to be in their ear making sure they're doing everything the right way. Because I know what this D-line is capable of when we're all locked in and playing to our potential. That kind of leadership and accountability is going to be huge for the Cowboys. They need that veteran presence and that driving force to really bring the entire unit together and get them pointed in the right direction. And having a guy like Lawrence set that tone is invaluable. But it's not just about the mental and leadership aspect. Lawrence also talked a lot about the technical and schematic side of things as well. He emphasized the importance of getting back to the fundamentals and really nailing down the little details of their technique and responsibilities. We've got to go back to the basics, man, Lawrence said. Too often last year, we got away from our techniques and our assignments, and that's what led to a lot of the breakdowns. We can't let that happen again. Every single rep, every single play, we've got to be laser focused on doing our jobs the right way. That means things like maintaining proper leverage and hand placement, staying disciplined with their gap responsibilities in the run game, and finding ways to consistently win their one-on-one battles as pass rushers. It's about mastering the little things that allow the D-line to operate at a high level. And Lawrence knows that's going to take a ton of work in the offseason. He talked about how the entire unit is going to be putting in extra time in the film room, really diving into the details of their scheme and assignments. And they're going to be pushing each other to the limit in the weight room and on the practice field, making sure they're in peak physical condition to dominate come game day. We can't leave any stone unturned, Lawrence said. Every single rep, every single drill, it's got to be done with purpose and attention to detail. Because when we're on our game and executing at a high level, there aren't many offenses that can stop us. But we've got to put in the work to get to that point. And that right there is really the key. The talent is undoubtedly there on the Cowboys' defensive line. Guys like Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Durance Armstrong, and others have proven that they can be absolute difference makers when they're playing at their best. But as Lawrence made clear, it's not just about the individual talent. It's about the group coming together, embracing the responsibility, and committing themselves to the little things that translate to dominant, game-changing performances. And if they can do that, the sky's the limit for this Cowboys defense. Now, I know a lot of you out there are probably feeling a bit skeptical after the way things went last season. It's understandable to have doubts, especially when the defense struggled so mightily. But I really believe that this offseason and the leadership of guys like DeMarcus Lawrence could be the key to turning things around. Think about it, the talent is there, the scheme is in place, and now you've got a veteran leader who's clearly hungry to get this unit back to an elite level. Lawrence is putting it all on the line, challenging his teammates to raise their game and holding them accountable every step of the way. And when you've got that kind of veteran presence and that level of commitment, good things tend to happen. So I'm optimistic that we're going to see a much improved Cowboys defense in 2024. Will it be perfect? Probably not. There's always going to be some growing pains and adjustments that need to be made. But if the D-line can recapture that dominant form, if Micah Parsons and the rest of the front seven can wreak havoc, and if the secondary can hold up their end of the bargain, this defense has the potential to be one of the best in the league. And you know what that means for the Cowboys' chances of getting back to the playoffs and making a deep run. With an offense that's already loaded with talent, if the defense can get back to an elite level, this team is going to be a force to be reckoned with. They'll be able to control games on both sides of the ball, wear down opponents, and really impose their will. It's an exciting time to be a Cowboys fan, my friends. The pieces are in place, the mindset is right, and the leadership is there. Now it's just a matter of going out and executing. If DeMarcus Lawrence and the defensive line can live up to their end of the bargain, the Cowboys could be heading for a big-time bounce-back season. So keep an eye on that D-line, keep an eye on Lawrence and how he's driving his teammates, and get ready for what could be a really special year in Dallas. I'll be right here keeping you updated on all the latest happenings, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.